Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Live Q&A. Today is October 30th, 2018. We are post Essen. Got in yesterday here local time around 7:40. Took us a while. We lost a piece of luggage, so I had to figure out where that piece is. Still don't know, but hopefully we'll get it at some point. Can't really complain about missing one out of like 11, 12 pieces of luggage. So if you could see over here, which you can't, there's a mound of games, but you will see that mound of games if you come back later on around in about 2 hours. Me, Z, and Sam will be doing a live unboxing, or kind of more of a live, here's all the stuff that came from Essen. So we'll be going through all those games and just talking about them. And then I have another unboxing going up today because, oh my goodness, a pile of games came while we were gone. We are literally swimming in gaming goodness. Think of a Scrooge McDuck situation here. I am very pleased about it. Now, here's the negative thing about that. There's no possible way we can review all these games right now. In fact, there's no possible way we can review all these games ever. But, I mean, even like the hot games, they're just not all going to go up this week. I can't even get them all played this week, right? So you'll see some hot games going up and being reviewed this week as, some cool things. I got a game coming up this week that I came this close to giving a 10 to. That's how much I liked it. So there's some cool things going up this week, and then you'll see the rest come out as the weeks go by. So that's just the way it's going to be. Okay, so if you have questions, go ahead, type them in. We'll try to answer as many of them as I can. Is anyone even watching? Oh, like 50 people. Well, it's early. All right. How were our flights? Not too shabby. Food was not very impressive on the flights, but that's okay. But the flights were good. We flew Air Europa. We flew from Miami to Madrid to Dusseldorf, back to Madrid, back to Miami. Is Thomas your complete name? No, my complete name is Thomas J. Vasel. J-A-Y is my middle name. Hey, Tom, you guys often poke fun at the names of games, like Dice Settlers, for example. What do you think makes a name good? I don't know. It's very subjective, obviously. Like, man, that game is good. And there's names I've made fun of in the past that have turned out to be really good. Like, for example, the Wii I thought was a really stupid name for the Nintendo system, and yet no one kind of blinks at it now. That's just what it's called. I think when I first heard of, some of the websites, you hear about these websites and you think, doesn't even, like, for example, Amazon doesn't even make any sense now at this point in time with what it does, but that's just the way it was. Have you seen the preview for the new Escape Room movie? Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm a little hesitant on it because it looks like, I can't tell from the trailer, but it looks like it's a movie where one person will survive at the end. It may be more horror. It looks a little cubish in a sense. I like the idea of an escape room thing. That sounds fun, but if it's more about, I don't know. I'm hoping it's good. I'm watching and it's 10 p.m. here in Taiwan. Did you gain weight in Essen? Well, it's a very nice thing for you to say. Thank you. Do I look that much fatter now? I think I gained a few pounds, probably, but I will have those off this week, probably. I didn't eat too much food at Essen, but I ate more than I normally do, and I weighed myself, and I was very content. It's like, oh, I think I went up like 3 pounds. All right, no worries. So I think a week I can get that 3 pounds, because it was like a quick rise. It should fall back off, and then I'll be back on my regimen where I'm losing around a pound or so a week. What do you do with all your airline miles points? I get a free ticket, I guess, once in a while. Any thoughts about going to Shady Maple before PAX Unplugged? Yeah, I am going, actually. I don't have the exact details. I don't know if we're making a big production about it, so if you're like, oh, I want to go, you can email me and I'll tell you the time that we're going at some point. But we're just going to head down there, and I think we're going to do it on Thursday. Do you think Essen was better than last year? No, I think it was about the same. There's a lot of great games, a lot of fun things. The layout is a little better than last year. I like the way that the halls were set up this year. Which escape room board game is the best for 2 players? Of the ones that are purely escape, Unlock works really well with 2. Can you say wah like Waluigi? I don't remember how he does it. Sorry. I saw you play a game on Friday and asked it about music or opera themed. It looked Italian. What do you think of it? I didn't play it. I was just sitting there looking at it. They were explaining a bit of it to me. It's called Symphony, and looks really interesting, but I'll have to wait till I play it before I can determine if it is or not. You didn't look fatter. That's why I asked about your weight. Oh. Okay. Well, I didn't know. You never know. Can you rank the halls at Spiel by how much you like them? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Well, the lowest on the list would be Hall 6. And then Hall 5. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good game companies in Hall 5, but just there's also a lot of stuff I'm not interested in. Then above Hall 5, I would put Hall 1, and that's because half of Hall 1 is Asmodee. There's a lot of great publishers in Hall 1, but it's half Asmodee. Then above Hall 1, I would put Hall 4, which is where we are at, which was a great hall, a lot of good things. And then Hall 3, that's the big hall. That's where Amigo and all that stuff is. That's just a neat hall to walk through. Very crowded, though. If I'm going in terms of crowds, that would be the lowest one. And then 2 is probably my favorite hall. This is all very minor, very subjective stuff. I liked all the halls. I like to go through all of them and see things. How many games did you bring back? I don't know. In our suitcases, I'm going to guess there was 120 games. On the pallet, I haven't done some exact math yet, but it looks like close to 400 games coming back on 2 pallets. However, we have extra games on the pallet also that are going to Dice Tower West to help build up that library. We have games coming for our library here. We have promo boxes, and then we have boxes of snacks from all the people who brought us snacks. Thank you for all the people saying nice things about us in Essen. How do you decide on the names for your children? Were they named after anyone? No, they were not named after everyone. I just picked names I liked. So I would go through and I'd be like, I like this name. So once we found out we're having a girl, I went to the girls' names. I was like, like. And I made a whole list of names I liked. I gave that list to Laura, and she picked one off the list. That's the easiest way done. I mean, we could have did it in reverse, right? Where she would go through and pick all the names she liked, give it to me, and I pick one. It's kind of the same thing. But this gave Laura the ultimate, this is the name of the baby. And then she didn't have to wonder would I also like the name, because I went through and said these are all the names I like. I also wanted names of kids that didn't have duplicate initials, so we could, you know, like we have Melody, that's MV, so we already had TV and LV, so we have MV, AV, HV, CV, VV, RV, and then J for Jim Vasel. Now, technically, Jim has the same initial as Jack, but that probably won't be a problem. What is the game that you love that you talked about Board Game Breakfast? Why don't you just wait till you see it come up this week? I think that will be reviewed tomorrow, actually. Maybe. We'll see. Was Stronghold in Hall 6? Nope, they were in Hall 3. Did the people you tested Cerebria have the similar feels of the game as you present in your review? No, a few of them liked it more than me. But no one was loving on it. But, I mean, that doesn't mean a lot of people won't. I'm sure it'll be fine. Did you make a tour video of Essen like last year? No, not really. They didn't get a ton of views, and so there's some that are up in my Board Game Breakfast. I just did a little video of some sites and stuff that I saw. Hall 6 looked like it was added to make the Spiel not so crowded, and most of the big miniature games were there. Sure, but it just was the least interesting to me, that's all. What's your favorite thing about Essen or Germany, excluding the board games? The food. I saw Z, Suzanne, and Mandy at the Dice Tower booth and felt too shy to say hi. So now I'll say thank you for all the great content. Maybe next year I'll say hi in person. Oh, we hope so. How much did you pay for shipping to bring back the games? I'm not sure, actually. It's being sent, and then I'll get a bill for it. Yay. Did Mandy and Suzanne bring back as many games this year as they did last year? I think they brought back more. Well, at least Suzanne did. I have Age of Empires 3. Is it worth it to get the Empire's Age of Discovery version instead? 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I don't think you need to get the new one. There is a nice little expansion for Age of Empires that's included with Empire's Age of Discovery, but if you can find that expansion, you get the same thing. Did you get to play many games at Essen? No, I played a few, but not a ton. But I got to play a few. I would say I played on average a game a day. Well, actually, I can tell you. Let's see. So on Tuesday, I didn't play anything, did I? No, I played a couple games Tuesday. 2 games Tuesday. 3 games Tuesday. Wednesday, I think I played a single game. Thursday, I played nothing. Friday, I played 1 game. No, 2 games. Saturday, I played 2 games. 3 games. And Sunday, I don't believe I played anything. So, there you go. Do you think that the bigger companies like Asmodee or Fantasy Flight, same company, by the way, would do conventions outside of the U.S.? I don't know what you mean by that. They do go all the conventions outside the U.S. They're at Essen. They're at UK Games Expo. They're at a lot of these conventions. Who in a Dice Tower crew is the best at dexterity games? I guess it would depend on what kind of dexterity game it is. I don't know that there's anyone who's the best at them. What was the best food you had this trip? We went to a Greek restaurant that we went to last year called Odysseus, I think. Very good food. Really enjoyed it. Is there a game or two you love that has not been picked up by any publisher in the U.S.? I'm sure, probably, but then it will probably be picked up. That always happens. Did I get a lot of steps in Essen? Yes, but not many more than I normally do, and on one day I got less. One day I didn't even hit 10,000, which is weird, and I think it was because I was shuffling through the hall because you can't walk very fast. So it felt like I was walking a ton, but I really wasn't. Not really sure. But I will say because I walk 10,000 steps a day, walking at Essen was not as exhausting as it has been in previous years. Does your cell phone service work in Germany? Yes. Do you like the Wheel of Time series? Are you excited for the Amazon Studios series that has been announced? I don't know anything about that. There's a lot of series that get announced. I don't really get excited about them until I see the trailer. Is there any links to seeing me preach online? If you look for the church I attend, First Baptist Church of Cutler Ridge on Facebook, you can see they stream this stuff there. So you can look for, I don't remember which dates, but I am preaching there this Sunday, so you could watch it live. That's the 4th, October 4th. Just bought Terraforming Mars. Should I jump right onto any particular expansions? I would play it first to see if you like it. Then, if you like it, then get, well, play it first, and then go through the expansions. Will you be reviewing Nemesis? Maybe. Is Nemesis that game that's on the floor over there? Yeah. It's over there. I saw it in the pile. That doesn't mean I'll be reviewing it, but it looks interesting. That's from Awakened Realms, right, though? So probably. Did you play Discover Lands Unknown yet? No, we got it the day before we went to Essen, so I didn't get to play it. Will you be watching the Project Elite Kickstarter campaign starting later today? For sure. Did you play any of your top 10 anticipated Essen games? Yes. Maybe. I'm trying to remember now what my top 10 were. Did you eat schnitzel? No, I didn't eat schnitzel this time. I had currywurst, but not schnitzel. Any thoughts about the new Arkham Horror? Just looked at the box. Don't know much more about it other than that. Are you guys doing another top 10 at PAX this year? Yes, we are. I am thinking about buying Carson City Big Box for 2 players. Can you give me your opinion of it as a 2-player experience? I am not sure I've ever played it as 2-player. Many of the good new games in Essen were, in my opinion, expensive. There was no discount or something. Do you think that's a good thing? If you think the games are expensive, then I would wait till they get cheaper, honestly. Yeah, games are expensive. That's because they're expensive to make. It's expensive for people to bring them to the booth at Essen, and you're paying for the opportunity to get them early. However, if you go through Essen, you can also see tons and tons of booths where there is like discounted games from previous years, really cheap games. So it's all one or the other. Are you happy with the live show at Spiel? A lot of people seem to be leaving during the Q&A part. Oh, sure. Well, I thought the show went great, but I'll probably just cut the Q&A next time. It was late. I understood why people were leaving. They wanted to get going and maybe beat the traffic or whatever. There is no hard feelings on my part about people leaving during the Q&A. I was like, yeah, we should probably end this so people can go. The Apple event live is streaming now with new Macs and iPads. Well, I wasn't even paying attention to that. Is that really going on? Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I'll just figure out when they're done here. That's pretty interesting because I am curious what they're doing to the new Macs. This, to me, is more interesting than what they're doing to the phones. But the new iPads and new Macs, that sort of thing is really interesting. So, yes, I guess when I'm done with this, I will go and see what all the announcements were. Why don't you allow to use deduction sheets encrypted? Okay, just to clarify, if you want to use deduction sheets encrypted, go for it. I did not mean this to become an argument. If someone wants to use deduction sheets encrypted, you are perfectly willing to use them. That's fine. But if I'm in a game and you say I'm going to use a deduction sheet, I'd say, well, I'm going to decline playing the game, because for me, if you use a deduction sheet encrypted, to me it's the same thing as if we're playing, let's say, a game where there's hidden victory points, and you said, I'm going to write down every time anyone here collects victory points, so at the end of the game I know how many everybody has. I wouldn't play with you either in that regard. That's just how it feels like to me. I don't think Cryptid needs deduction sheets. You can literally look at the board and figure out everything in your head, and that is a bit of a skill. And if you're just marking things off a deduction sheet, that takes that skill away because you're literally just marking things off a deduction sheet, and that's half the game to me. Half the game is trying to figure things out. The other half is using the knowledge and putting it together. And if the figuring things out, you're just marking them off in a sheet. It's just not as interesting to me. But if you like doing it that way, fantastic. It just, to me, feels almost like a cheat, not to mention it's not even in the game. So there's some deduction games where you definitely need a sheet. I don't think Cryptid's one of them. But again, if you like doing it, fantastic. I haven't played the expansion for Star Wars Rebellion. I know you enjoyed Champions of Midgard. Are you looking forward to the Reavers of Midgard? Well, I don't know if they're, I don't know how similar they are. Just because they have the word Midgard in them doesn't mean anything. I have a couple friends who are scientists and want games that introduce science to their kids or have science themes. I've done a top 10 list on that very subject. You can find it at gamesandeducation.com. What would I rate Cryptid? I think I rated it an 8. I really did enjoy it. Did I see the new Bunny Kingdom expansion? Didn't know there was even one coming out. How does the 4th of July affect the Dice Tower Con? Well, I guess it makes it more trafficy, and you don't want to drive around the city at night, I guess, because of all the fireworks displays. But other than that, it doesn't affect it too much. Does Teotihuacan represent a trend towards cheaper, heavy euros? Is it? I don't know. Is it cheap looking? Maybe. I don't know. It looks like every other heavy euro to me. I like it. Have you played Tsukiyumi? No, Sam has. What are my initial impressions of Raccoon Tycoon? Well, actually, just hang on. This week I'll be doing a full review of Raccoon Tycoon. I guess Clue had deduction sheets, right? Well, sure. Yeah, but I don't think Clue is much of a deduction game. It's just not that interesting to me. I look absolutely knackered. Thank you. I'm not feeling that bad. I have a small headache, and I'm not sure if it's the change in the thing. I took a Tylenol for it, and it's still kind of lingering. I wouldn't mind if it went away. But I'm feeling like, spirit-wise, I feel really fantastic. I am tired, but whatever. I'll just bulldoze through it. I couldn't find any Dice Tower review for Taj Mahal. Thoughts? I don't know if I ever did review it. I played it a long time ago. Was not really a fan of it. What mechanic or theme was the mechanic or theme of Essen this year? Well, probably roll and rights. There are so many of them right now. Just tons of that stuff. Where's the best place to eat while at Dice Tower Con? Oh, there's so much. I mean, you are in Orlando. There's restaurants all over that city. I'd be very hesitant to say the best restaurants there because I've eaten at a tiny fraction of them. You know, it was funny. Last year at Dice Tower Con, I went to a gas station Mexican restaurant. It was a Mexican restaurant that was in a gas station, but it was highly rated. So we went to it, and we're like, but it was quite good. How would you rate Mezzo over Rising Sun? I wouldn't rate it over it. I don't like it as much as Rising Sun, but I like it a lot. Best looking game you saw at Essen solely based on appearance. There's so many. There's not one that stood out above all the rest for me. Drink lots of waters. Well, I am drinking. This is not quite water, but this is vitamin water. Glacier vitamin water. Did Dice Tower fans in Essen try to make you eat anything suspicious? I know a buddy wanted you guys to taste our black and sour salmiakki candies. Well, no one pushed up on us. We got so much chocolate. In fact, next year I think I'm gonna make a sign before we go to Essen. We don't want chocolate. No, I mean chocolate is great and tasty and delicious. I don't need 20 pounds of it. We got a lot. We're very thankful. We got lots of great things from people, and then people kept coming. Here's chocolate, and I was like, trying to lose weight. I don't want to eat chocolate right now, but we got pretzels and all sorts of cool gifts from people. Very nice, and we really appreciate each and every one of them. Oop. I feel like I need to go in there and ban someone. Nope. Maybe it's already been done. Did you play Underwater Cities yet? No, I haven't played it at all. It's a long game. It says 45 minutes per player, and I heard that it's closer to an hour per player. So I'm going to play with 3 players. Yeah, we'll see how that goes first. Since you travel out, do you stay home for vacation? Sometimes. The Bunny Kingdom expansion is called Up in the Air. Yellow announced it at the end of last week. Well, that's cool. Have you tried Blackout yet? No, I haven't. But I'm done answering questions like that. Literally, I have not played 95% of the games that came out of Essence. So don't go through lists and say, have you played this yet? Have you played this yet? Just assume no. As soon as we play them, though, we will post them on our channel. Did you bring any hats back from Germany? Yeah, I was given a couple hats. I think they actually got shipped in the pallet. A green fedora, someone gave me, and one of those little caps. Now, you probably won't see me wear them very often because they're quite small. I have an extra large head, so people don't realize that until they meet me in person. Then they're like, wow, that head's massive. So you may not see them on the show, but I really appreciate those who gave them to me. My daughters will probably wear them. When a Board Game Geek entry says time per player, it means over the course of the whole game and not between turns. Yeah, that's what it means. When a non-gamer finds out you play board games and asks you what's your favorite game, how do you respond without listing a bunch of games they never heard of? What I do is I'll say, well, you probably haven't heard of my favorite games, but one game I think you would really like that I really enjoy is Ticket to Ride. Or whatever, I'll pick some gateway game, and I kind of deflect the question into something else. And then I start talking about that, and usually they're like, oh, that's interesting. I point to a game that I think they would actually like. They might like my favorite game, right? But baby steps. Does Dice Tower Con come with a swag bag? It may not, right? It's very, you gotta be careful about promising swag bags at cons. Sometimes we can pull them off, sometimes we can't. And if you go in expecting one and you don't, then it's very disappointing. So we don't normally announce them. What are you backing on Kickstarter at the moment? I don't think I am backing anything. But I will look. Oh, yeah. What is this thing? Sentium. Turn your shower into a scented wellness retreat. It's like this thing you can stick in your shower, and you put a tablet in, and it has therapeutic and massaging powers of aromatherapy and water. I don't know. I thought it'd be something me and my wife would like. I like stuff like that. I'm a sucker. Someone brought me soap at Essen, and I think of all the things I got, that was my favorite gift because I just like stuff like that. That's the last thing I backed Starcadia Quest and some Dwarven Forge stuff. Yeah, I don't back much. I think this whole year I've backed 5 projects. So, all right. What candy did you give out for trick-or-treating? I change every year. I buy bulk candy from online game stores. Online candy stores, not game stores. From online candy stores, I buy bulk candy, and then I split it up. Like last year, I bought a bunch of that Lego candy, right, and put it in bags and gave it out. This year, I was a little tired, so I just bought a bunch of wrapped candy. But I look for stuff that, like, ooh, okay, so I have some typical Jolly Ranchers and Sour Patch Kids and things. But I'm like, what is a cool thing to get? So I bought a bunch of Pez this year, right? Because I think Pez is neat. Doesn't everyone like Pez? I don't know. What hat size? Well, I always get extra large. If there's a number in it, I want to say it's 17 3/4 sounds right. You mentioned Axis and Allies Zombies looks like a long game. It actually plays quicker than regular Axis and Allies. You can't turtle. Eventually the zombies get to be a problem. Okay, cool. Will there be an Essen back talk? Yeah, we plan to do one this week. I'm just not sure what day it'll be. Just keep an eye on our live stuff. What's my favorite snack to serve at game nights? Probably pretzels. They're easy. They sit in bowls. People like to munch on them. They're filling. They're not healthy, but they're not like really bad for you either. So, and they don't get all over the game. They very rarely leave residue on your fingers, unless you get the ones that are like mustard flavored ones. If Dice Tower and other board game media crews had softball teams in the league, what would your mascot be? Well, it would be one of our dice guys, I guess. And what position would you like to play? I'd prefer not to play a position right now. I don't think I'd be very good. I'd be the coach, hopefully. But if I had to play a position, I'd probably want to play shortstop, I guess. Or second base, not shortstop. Live play suggestion. You, Sam, and Z play the top games in your 100 list the others haven't played. Basically show them why they should play this obviously great game. No. No. No, no, no. No, no. No. No, 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 no. Oof. I was a little bad on my knees there. Okay, let me explain. Why? Now, people say, oh, that'd be great for us to see. Sure, probably. But if I like a certain style of game and the other guys don't, why would I want to subject them to them playing games they don't like? And I can say, oh, I want. Like, for example, Sam says all the time, Z, you like Twilight Imperium. He would not. He wouldn't even come close to liking it. He would hate it. So why would I want Z to play Twilight Imperium? Just because I think a game's in my top 100, I think it's great, doesn't mean I think everyone else should like that game. I don't think everyone else should even play that game. And I would not want to put that on them. And for them, you know, they might say, I like this game. I'm like, oh, it looks interesting. Maybe I'll play it at some time. But I don't want to feel like just because someone else thinks it's their favorite, I have to do it. This happens all the time. Like with food, someone will say, I love this food. I'm like, it doesn't look that good. Well, you should try it. Yeah, but I only come to this restaurant once or twice a year. So rather than take a chance on that thing that you love, I'd rather pick something I already know I love. And there already is thousands and thousands of games that come out. I don't have time to play them all. I don't want to waste time playing games that look at other people's lists that I go, I don't think I would like that much. And you say, but some of them you say, well, that sounds interesting. Sure. And I'll get to it eventually. But no, we're not going to do that. No. There's so many bad reasons about it. My apologies. Does the Dice Tower cruise feel like vacation for y'all or work? We're really hoping to play a game with y'all at some point. It's more like work for me, but I mean, it's fun work, so it's not too bad. I would like to clarify that the chance of you playing a game with me is greater on the cruise than anywhere else, but it is not a given, even remotely. So let's say there's 500 people on the cruise. I'm only going to be able to play like 20 games. If there's 3 people in each game I play against, that's 60 people I'll only be able to play with out of 500. So just keep that in mind. But there are plenty of other great people on the cruise to play games with too. I'm not saying no to people. I'll play games with people. I try to play games with as many different people as I can. But it is not a guarantee by any sort of the stretch of the imagination. How does the expedition service for board games in Essen work? I don't know what that means. What percent of Essen expansions should I expect to be also at PAX? I have no idea. Sorry, I don't know. Did you miss me while you were at Essen? No. Is the live unboxing today? Yes, in a couple hours. With expansions coming out with multiple modules, ever thought of doing a video with the best setup with the new modules? Sometimes. We might do that, but I only do that usually with games I really like. You've dressed extremely smart in every video I've seen of late. Was this a definite decision of yours or coincidence? No. I like dressing like this. There's a lot of good things. One, it's distinct. No one else dresses like this. Two, I mean, no one on videos anyway. Two, I like it. It keeps me awake and it's fun. And three, I have a lot of these clothes that I kind of grew out of because I was getting chubby. So now that I'm slightly thinner, I can fit back in them, and it's good. With Dice Tower conventions spreading across America, yes, all 2 cities, which countries would you like to expand into if you could? We'll see. Again, to clarify, we are not in talks, plans, or any sort of things to take Dice Tower overseas. But I'm not saying no, a hard no, that will never happen. But there is nothing beyond that. When will we see the blank review? Eventually. That's all I can tell you. There is a gazillion games here. So you're just going to have to wait till we go through them all. I only review so many games a week, so there's a lot going on. Are you going to play Red Dead Redemption 2? I probably should play the first one, right? I only have a Switch and a Mac and an iPad. So unless a game comes out for one of those 3 things, I won't play it. What have I been reading lately? Well, I went and read the last book I read. Well, I read 2 books recently. Let me make sure I get the names of them correctly. Let's see here. The Plastic Magician. This is from a trilogy, the Paper Magician novels. Well, the Plastic Magician is the start of a new trilogy, I think. I like that. It was a very nice book. I don't know how else to explain it. There wasn't a lot of intrigue. There was a little bit of stuff in it, but I don't know how to explain it. It was just pleasant, and I like reading it every once in a while. Then I read a book called Zone War, which was Zone War Series Book 1, which, since it was just written, means it's the first in a series. It's okay as a standalone book, though. I liked it a lot. Essentially, in the future, in the near future, a bunch of drones, some terrorist organization sends a bunch of drones that wipe out, New York City, or people flee, right? And the drones are going around shooting up people. Lots of people die. And then these drones are still sitting in the city. They build like a wall around it. And there's just a gazillion drones, and they're dangerous. They're too hard to go in and get out. But there's like reality TV show where people will go in the zone and try to get stuff out. Like you can loot the zone. It's legal to go in there and loot. You just got to worry about getting shot at. It's interesting. I enjoyed it. What size suit jacket are you? 42 sounds right, maybe? I'm not sure off the top of my head. Do you think the very important gaming badge for Gen Con is worth it? I don't think it's worth it for me, but every single person I've talked to who has it says it's worth it for them. So there you go. Did the theme of a game from Essen surprise you this year? I think the symphony one did, because I was really surprised at how the game worked. You have these instruments and you take things off and you put them on notes on a musical sheet. I like that. There have been plenty of positive changes in Dice Tower over the years, but what do you miss most about Dice Tower from, say, 5 or 6 years ago? I would say the simplicity. Now when I go to a convention, I have to arrange what 10, 12 different people are doing. I have to keep an eye on everything, and I can't just like sidle through the halls and look at stuff. There is some pleasure to doing that. Do you envision the business behind the cruise and conventions growing to such an extent that it pushes out the content creation? No, and I will not allow that to happen. That's one of the reasons that we have decided not to go to Origins next year, because I want there to be content on our channel. When can we expect the next top 100 games of all time video? You'll see one a week until they're done, and the last one will be done live. Are you excited for the new Dominion expansion? No. But I'll play it and I'll try it out. I'm just not excited for it anymore. It looks interesting. There's some interesting cards in it. I'll have fun with it, I'm sure. I'm just not excited about it. Is the stack of games that need to be reviewed yet getting bigger or smaller? Well, it was getting smaller until like 2 hours ago. Looking at getting my first racing game, Downforce, and the new edition of Camel Up. It totally depends what you're looking for in a racing game. Camel Up's they're both betting games, I guess, to some degree. Try them out, watch the reviews, see which one sounds like it'd be more your style. Have you read the Chronicles of Narnia? Yes. If so, which book was your favorite? The last one. Last one was my favorite. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Horse and His Boy is a good one, though. People were saying Essen was mediocre this year. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep shouting this. I don't know what people mean by that. Do they mean like the amount of games that came out that were good? That's balderdash. Anyone who says Essen was mediocre is jaded at this point. Literally jaded. Because there are hundreds and hundreds of really cool, neat, fun, amazing games that came out. and you can't find any, and you call that mediocre? Baloney. Baloney with a capital B. Are you saying that as time goes by? Now you might say, well, yeah, but there wasn't a game that completely blew me away. That doesn't mean that it was a mediocre convention. That just means that your tastes are becoming more refined. Can you imagine if you were new to the hobby and you walked in Essen? It would blow your mind. You'd be like, wow, there's great games everywhere and from all over the world. There's Indonesia and Thailand and Taiwan and China and Korea and Japan and Poland and Russia and Brazil and Argentina, and all these companies are here with games, and they're all interesting games, and some of them aren't as good as others. And it's a fantastic golden age to be a gamer. Mediocre, bah humbug! Because that's what you're becoming when you start saying nonsense like that. That's insanity. There are more good games at Essen this year than there were games at Essen 15 years ago. That's crazy talk. Anyone who says that, they're jaded. They're jaded. What time of day do you spend reading? When I walk, I read sometimes. When I'm indisposed, I read. I read before I go to bed. I read while I eat sometimes. I just read sometimes I read after supper on the couch. What is the very important gamer badge at Gen Con? That is a badge that they sell where it costs like $500 or so, and you get some benefits with it. You get a guaranteed hotel room that you have to buy the hotel room, but you get a guaranteed hotel room. You have this lounge that you can go into during the con itself with drinks and snacks and whatever. You get a pile of games from people, a big pile of games, and you get to go in an hour before everybody else on the very first day. There might be some other benefits to it than that. If you have one, then you automatically have a chance to buy one the next year. So only if people give them up can other people get them. Have you ever thought of writing a novel? I have. I don't think I'm a great writer, and also I haven't put the time into it. How's Melody? I think she's doing fine. You mentioned the top 10 for this week. Can you tell the topic? I don't think, did I mention that? I didn't mean to. There's no top 10. Our top 100 list is coming out this week. Origin sucks. After going to Essen, I was pretty bored and didn't even go the second day. Okay. I guess I can't see how you could be bored at a game convention. There's so much to do. If nothing else, to sit down and play games with people, to go demo games. I'm never bored at a game convention. Do you have little people living behind you in that pear and pottery? Is this a pear? I think it's a gourd. So I get things to put behind me on the shelf here, and so I get things when they're on sale and discount it for like a really inexpensive price, which is why as time goes by you'll see things that are seasonal, right? And this is Thanksgiving-ish, so I guess that's why they're there. Will we get to watch you guys play an entire campaign at Betrayal Legacy? I'm not sure how Betrayal Legacy is going to work. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell is my all-time favorite book ever. Yeah, I never heard of them before, and now that I saw that game was announced, I'll probably go back and read the book. If there's one way to get me to read a book, make a board game about it. And I'll be like, I guess I should go check out the book. Have you read something Wicked This Way Comes by Bradbury? Yeah, I don't really like it. I know it's a good book, and it's not, I just don't like horror that much, and that book's kind of horror-ishy. I mean, I do like Ray Bradbury's. He writes a lot of little horror stories, right? They're mostly short, though. So you read them, you're like, ooh, okay, it's done. Ooh, spooky. But Something Wicked This Way Done was like a much more drawn-out version of that. I've never been to Sweden. Can you suggest a medium heavy game with a board and a deck? I don't know. Maybe someone else in the comments can think of one. My mind's a little fried right now on that. What movie did you watch in the plane? I didn't watch a ton of movies. I don't know, I played on the iPad a lot. What did I watch? Oh, I watched a movie called The Martian Child. It was about a kid who thought he was a Martian with John Cusack. It was okay. Then I watched Troy for some reason. All right, let's see here. When you buy games with cards in a different language, do you print sleeve English translations with the original cards, or do you get new cards printed out? I try to do neither. If there's not English cards, then I'm not really interested in the game. I'll just wait for that. What type of chair do you have? I found these on Amazon. These are church chairs, essentially. I think they're pretty comfortable. They're also really sturdy, so I like them. Have you visited other cities in Germany besides Essen? Yeah, I've been to whatever city Audi is made in. And I think that's it, just those two cities. Have you played Arkham Horror? No, wait, sorry. When you play Le Havre, you would prefer the 12-round or 20-round version? The 20-round version. I wish that there was a Jonathan Strange and Mr. Morale board game. No, there is. It's coming out. They've announced it. Let's see. Do you watch anything special for Halloween? No, I don't. I don't like Halloween. I don't like horror movies. Excited for the Mice and Mystic movie? Sure. I'll wait and see when it comes out. That sounds interesting. It's great for them, though. I'm excited for them a lot. What's my favorite board game as an app? It's probably still Ascension. It's the one I play the most. Have you considered putting out a Dice Tower promo expansion for King of Tokyo? Oh, well, I mean, we have the Iron Rook already from Yettle, but it would have to be through Yettle. I would never do a unofficial promo thing. Something Wicked as being a short story? I'm pretty sure Something Wicked This Way Comes as a whole book. I might be wrong, but I thought it was. Or if it's not, it's a very long short story. I watched Troy in a plane. Am I missing the Mediterranean antiquity theme in board games? Now, you know what? I will say that Troy has aged better for me. It's one of those movies, first time I saw it, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting to see more of the gods involved, and there wasn't any. And I was like, I'm not here to watch Brad Pitt the whole time. But it's kind of aged for me well. It's still probably too long, but I don't mind watching it. Do you think a turn-based variant could work for Project Elite for teaching non-gamers or maybe playing with kids? Nah, I don't think so. I think it just works best as real time. Do you think a John Carter board game would do well? Maybe. John Carter is one of my favorite movies, actually. Sorry, I'm not sick. I don't know what's happened. I just suddenly have gotten that case of the allergies, or I don't know what it is. I did not see the new Feast for Odin expansion. There was not many of them, and I missed that. It's one of the few things we missed. I don't have a copy of it at all. I'm hunting down a copy of it. I'm very disappointed, actually. I really want to get a copy of that one. What do you think about the coma theme in board games, like Holding On or Coma Wars or Coma Knots? I don't know. It's seems, well, the guy in Holding On isn't in a coma. He's just sick. He's telling you his story. Coma Wars or Coma, I don't know anything about them. I'll have to wait till I play them. Reckoners or Mistborn? I like Reckoners better as the board game. As the books, I like Mistborn better. Did Eric eat all the small black candies I left for all of you at the booth? He did not. And to clarify, no one is going to, because we're very appreciative of you giving them to us, but they taste awful. It's like concentrated bitterness. They're like bitter pills. I tried them, but yeah, no one likes them. Sorry. So I don't think anyone's going to eat all of them. And I think you knew that when you left them. Did you play again the Project Elite after the last week live play with Z, Sam, and Kenneth? Actually, what you saw was an abridged live play. Tomorrow, when the Kickstarter launches, it's either going to be tomorrow or Thursday. I don't remember which day. You will see the full play of that and a follow-up game in which we did better than the first one. Kenneth had to go, so just me, Sam, and Z. Did we win or not? You'll have to watch and see. But it is an extremely exciting game. John Carter wasn't marketed right. I agree. Have you had a chance to try out the new pitch card loop? I did not try it out. Well, I didn't flick anything through it, but it's amazing. I mean, it is unbelievably cool. I didn't know what to expect. We saw it, and me and I think Eric Summerer were looking at it, and I was like, man, I don't know how I would fit that in the box. And the guy's like, no, look. And it looks like it's made of like a bendable plastic. It looks like bamboo, right? So you can make a loop, but you can take the piece and you can make a corkscrew. You can make a curve. You can make a flat, which is super useful, especially if you have two tables that are different, because you have these two pieces and then the thing bends in between it. That's awesome. I mean, like, I want 10. I will love using this for pitch card tracks. It is amazing. However, it's not out yet. They're kickstarting it. So I think the Kickstarter they said is February. So very interested in it. But yeah, I got to wait. Did you watch the first all-women pay-per-view Evolution on Sunday? No, I was at Essen, and I don't watch any pay-per-views until way after the fact if I can find them somewhere for free. I can't afford pay-per-views. Well, I could afford them, I guess. It's just not very high on my priority list. So I don't watch any of them. Do you know anything on the expansion of the Detective coming out? Yeah, it's based in L.A. It's gonna have some new mechanisms where you're gonna be able to go on stakeouts and things like that. I guess it's gonna have more of a grittier noir feel to it. So that sounds interesting. Did you talk with Bruno Catala? I think I said, hello, Bruno. That was it. I didn't talk to a lot of designers. I had an interesting conversation with Vincent Dutrait. It's amazing how much artwork he pumps out. And it was interesting talking to him about how he picks the games. When he does artwork for a game, he wants to make sure it's a game that people are going to like. He doesn't want to just put artwork in any old game. He wants it to be a good, solid game. I thought that was interesting. What game is the best giant version that you've seen? Probably Camel Up. It was a really cool giant Camel Up version I saw. They had a giant penguin game, the Ice Cool, which was neat, but ow, did it hurt flicking those penguins, and I can't jump them. I tried, and it felt like I broke my nail because you have to flick them across top of the head. Oh, maybe I could swipe them across top of the head and they would flip. It's not the same thing. I don't know. Do you store games horizontally or vertically on my Calyx? Yes. Hey, I'm caught up on questions. Let me drink something. Dabba-dibba-dabba-doo. What's the best kind of hot sandwich? Reuben. Reubens are amazing. How can someone deal with disappointment from not being able to get a particular game? Get another game or get the game. You know, I don't know that there's a game you can't get. There might be only 1,000 copies of a game, so it's expensive. Then if you really want it, you save, you plan, you work like anything else, and then you finally get enough money, you get it. But other than that, there's so many games that are out there for you, I don't think it's necessary to worry about it. If you notice, I'm skipping tons of questions where people said, did you see that Essen? What do you think about it? I saw almost everything at Essen. I did not, but I saw almost everything. So the answer to all those questions are yes. And what do I think about them? We will do our reviews on them. Did you ever get to play the physical copy of Cones of Dunshire? No, and I wouldn't have, because the game was like a joke bad game. I don't know why turning that into an actual game was exciting. That just seems odd to me. I'm a bit confused about your rule that you don't play prototypes of games, yet you played a lot of Kickstarter games lately that were prototypes like Title Blade. Why is that? Okay, that's a fair question. As a general rule, it's not a 100% rule, but I don't play prototype games. That's all we would ever do. We would just have prototype after prototype after prototype after prototype after prototype. We would never play actually published games, and it would be miserable. It really would be. So even though your prototype that you are trying to show me is the greatest prototype ever and is not like all the other really bad ones that I'm being shown, I have to have that rule across the board. Now, we break that rule occasionally for something like Title Blades. However, that was a paid playthrough where they came and said, we would like you to do this. We will pay you to do this. But even then, I will still say, let me look at the game and see if it's one that I'm interested in doing. I will not do it for a game that I have no interest in. I might not love the game, but I definitely at least want to be somewhat interested in it. Title Blades, I really liked. And Mezzo, we just did both of those, right? Really, really enjoyed both of those a lot. And so that's why we did those. But other than that, it's a pretty hard and fast rule. The paid playthroughs and things would be the exception. And you won't see a ton of those. At the most, you would see one a week. And you're not even seeing that many. Do you guys drink beer sometimes? I won't speak for anyone else. Just for me personally, I'm a teetotaler. I don't drink beer. I never have, actually. So there you go. Reubens are best, but only with Russian dressing, not Thousand Island. No, Thousand Island's fine. I like a Rachel, actually, too. I understand. You understand you're from Pennsylvania. Have you ever gone to Pittsburgh area for any reason? I never have, actually. Pennsylvania, I always tell people, Pennsylvania is essentially two states. There's Eastern Pennsylvania and Western Pennsylvania, and there the twain shall meet. That's not quite true, but it feels like that. Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania have a very different culture than Eastern Pennsylvania with Philadelphia and Allentown, which is where I grew up. I never went to Pittsburgh. I never needed to. Do you think Chief Soak Toe would like those little black candies from Essen? Yeah, they would probably work well with one of the booby traps that we were putting together. Rachel's are better than Reubens. I don't know if I like them kind of about equally. It depends what the mood is in and which one I would get. What is a Rachel? Let me look it up online to make sure that I don't mess up what a Rachel sandwich is. A Rachel sandwich is a grilled sandwich on rye bread with corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, and Russian dressing. Okay, so it's a little different than the Reuben. The Reuben, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. The Rachel, instead of having sauerkraut, it substitutes coleslaw. So the Reuben has sauerkraut, the Rachel has coleslaw. And sometimes the Rachel also has turkey instead of pastrami. But for the most part, that's the biggest difference for me. Don't you love when you come here to hear about board games and end up talking about food? What happened to the 360-degree camera? Yeah, that was kind of a wash, right? I thought people would love the 360-degree views of conventions, walking around and stuff, and they do not. We got so many negative comments. We would say in the video, the title would be like 360 camera view. We would put it in the description. We would say, you're looking at a 360-degree camera. And people would be like, why am I staring at your feet this whole video? It's like, you can move it around. They're also huge video files. They take up a lot of space. Yeah, that's just why. Alrighty. Well, that's it here, folks. Thanks so much. For those asking about the 24 hours live gameplay, that's going to probably happen. I'm not sure exactly when that's going to happen, but we're going to do it where we spread it out over the course of a whole week. I'm thinking what we just did was that, where we did that testing week of games. We may do something like that very similar again. I think it gives you the same amount of hours as a live marathon anyway. Alrighty, until next time, thanks for watching my live Q&A. We'll be back in 1 hour at noon, me, Sam, and Z going through all the different games that we got. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Alright, Victorian board games. The Princess Quest, a fairy race game. This board has 200 spaces, or more than that. Huh. I can get an invisible cloak. So where do I start? At the King's Palace. Do you just roll that? Wow, there's more than 200 spaces. Wow. Interesting. A day at the zoo with Daddy. A day at the zoo. Fall into the bear pit, out of the game. Well, I would imagine so. Zebra, if you fall here, go back to space 50 to fetch biscuits. Looks like you're rolling dice to move around. If you land, feeding times, miss a turn to see animals feed. All right. Cycling. This is from 1880. 2 to 4 players. Oh, the rules are at the bottom. Here you're collecting stuff by getting to space 100. Oh, okay, I see. You have to get a lamp, and then if you run to the policeman, you have to give him a lamp. If you don't, you then have to go back and get one. Let's see. The Wonders of the Deep. This is another roll and move game where you're going to go down. Deep sea divers. All right. A Trip to Mars. These spaces aren't even numbered. This is in 1902. They think, because it doesn't even mention airplanes. A Visit to the Moon. Meh. And then we got The Tailless Donkey, a very amusing game. Pin the tail. So you want to get the tail as close to the donkey's tail. You close your eyes, and then you get a score from 1 to 100, depending on which number you hit. That's insane. The 100 is right in the donkey's rectum. That's where the tail should go. But around it's a 39, a 69, a 66, and a 22. If you get them in the nose, it's a 1. But just above the nose is a 96. So if you go right for the middle of the donkey, it's a 10, but right next to it's an 88. It's kind of like darts or something, I guess. The Tailless Donkey. I'm going to go with that being the best game here in the book.